I'm a big believer in preparing in as many ways as we can for all those things that we could possibly envision happening to us in our daily lives. Some might say I'm obsessive. I don't mean it in that way. There's a practical minded preparation that I'm talking about. When you think of the challenges that physicians face, one of the biggest ones that I've been sensitized to is dealing with the absolute inherent degree of uncertainty that comes from every single day life. Now, one of the things that I would suggest, and I learned this from my work with elite SWAT officers, when they get set to execute a warrant, after they've gathered all their intel, after they've discussed tactics and strategies, etc., they have a moment where they say amongst each other, okay, what's the 2% rule? And the 2% rule is there's a very unlikely chance that whatever it is I'm thinking about in my head could ever occur, but it might. And so just to simply get it off my chest, to throw it out there, and maybe we bounced a couple of hypothetical strategies as to how we might combat that, is going to do two things. It's going to make me feel better, and it's going to make me focus better in the moment. So they engage in this little process. I heard a story one time in medicine that is strikingly similar. A cardiothoracic surgeon that I know was in the middle of a very intensive and complex surgical procedure. I don't imagine there's any procedures in that area that aren't intense and complex, but nevertheless. And as they were going along, a vital piece of equipment stopped working. And one of the surgeons who was assisting with this particular surgical procedure sprang into action and somehow rigged this thing to be working again. And so in the debriefing session that they had afterwards, of course, the first question everybody wanted to know was, how often had this particular person experienced this before? Because clearly they must have. They knew exactly what to do and responded immediately. And the person answered, he said, I've never experienced this before. He says, but I've thought about it a lot. And therein, in a medical example, lies the value in considering some of the 2% things. Again, there is so much that you must be ready for in medicine, and there's so much that you are prepared for through hours and hours of training and experience. But equally, there are those things that we maybe cannot always be ready for. But if we could simulate and envision in our mind how we might respond in those moments to those kinds of stressors, we might find that being present in the moment is a lot more easier to do.